Hi, YouTube.
YouTube. We harmonized.
Hey, YouTube. Oh, Chad Twist went live.
Okay.
Chad went live. What was it like for a while? It was like saying some like
It's
weird
in
language.
like, yeah, it's in like Japanese or something.
It's probably why those German people found us. They're like,
Yeah, we'd go. I linked the YouTube page to the Google.
dude, what the heck?
Or to Twitter rather. What?
Greg Miller just married that girl.
Oh, did they?
Wow.
Congrats. I just
All
saw
right.
from an hour ago. Today I married gangster or whatever. Full post and it's got pictures and stuff. Like she's not even fully moved into their house yet.
Good for them. When you know, you know. All right.
Greg would upstage me
tell.
like that.
Obviously.
Yeah, Greg, he's like, we got to get married before that Josh Owens
I don't
kid.
think anybody realized.
Freaking Greg.
All right, let's get the Audacity ready to go.
Let's do it.
Ready? Ready?
I got to open it. Sorry.
Oh, for the love.
Every time.
Sorry. I thought it was open, ready to go.
It doesn't just automatically open when you turn your computer on?
It's just bouncing in my dock. Well, I have to always like make sure it's shut off when I plug in my mic, or sometimes it doesn't like
Sure.
register.
Defaults to the wrong one. Right.
And I forgot to turn it on. But
All right, how about you count us down?
It seems to be on right now, and I'm ready. So, when we count us down?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 116 for May the 2nd, 2017. Man, almost made it. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Viss, joining me from the states that they live in. I'm going to say you both at the same time. Dave Mann and Josh Owens.
Ah!
You know, Chad, it's nothing to be ashamed of. We've all haven't been saying dates and stuff for a long time. Every once in a while, just
It's
doesn't
new.
come out right. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Or he said.
I don't
Get it? Because
know.
gay.
What? What?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Have to get rid of that. Sorry, YouTube. All right, so we're here. We last week we teased a little something that we're going to be doing for our listeners and then viewers, and then today Dave is going to go ahead and fill you in on exactly what we want to gift you.
All right, cool, guys. Guess what? Big giveaway coming. This was a conglomeration of ideas between the three of us because we like to give things away. As many of you know, what have we given away, guys, in the past? We've given away Uncharted 4.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We gave away, was it Gears of War 4?
Uh-huh.
We've given away a bunch of like cool horror stuff and some Xbox Live or PS Network for a year.
Yep,
that's correct.
That was cool.
Yeah.
We like giving away stuff, and we're going to go for something big this time. And so listen up. For those of you who want to get in on this, this is going to be a 6-month-long giveaway. So don't get excited too fast because it's going to take some time. But there's a reason for that. It's because in 6 months, we're going to give away a PlayStation 4.
What?
Yes, and for those of you who have PlayStation 4s, let me say a little something to you. Get over it. You can easily win something, and then you can sell it or do whatever and get the money and still have still be really excited about winning something, okay? So don't give me any of this crap like, oh, you know, I already have PS4. I'm talking to you, Steel Boys. I'm talking to all of you.
Calling them out. Dang.
Anyways, so if you want to know how to enter for this, there's going to be lots of ways to enter. This is a long giveaway, and we want everybody to be involved. We're going to be doing some promotional things on the Facebook page. We're going to be trying to get a lot of people involved in this. So there's going to be multiple ways to enter. You're going to be able to have lots of entries, basically what I'm saying. So you're going to want to listen, first of all, every week, because we're going to give you each month, I should say, a new way to enter into the giveaway. And we'll talk about it every month, so you'll be able to find out. As long as you're listening, you're not going to miss out on the ways to enter. So first and foremost, let me say for our Patreon users, Patreon supporters, you will all get an entry every month that you support. So the people that have been supporting us, you're going to be getting your entries in there. It's not going backwards. So unfortunately, Evan, you don't get like a bunch of entries off the bat. But as long as you're supporting us every month, you will get an entry simply for doing that. So we appreciate you guys. It's the reason that we can do this stuff is the Patreon supporters. So we thank you so much for that. And then, above all that, we're going to be giving you, like I said, new things every month. So the first month, this month, which is the month of May, this is how you do it. We've done this before. So those of you who have done it already, you'll also be able to get a entry for this. But you need to subscribe to the podcast and rate us. And currently the only way to rate us really that we're going to accept is through iTunes. Now I understand not everybody uses iTunes or whatever, but it's free to do. It's free to sign up or whatever to just put an entry on there. People have done it in the past and they've won cool stuff from doing it. So if you want to get the entry for this month, rate us on iTunes. You can subscribe whether it's through you listen through iTunes or you listen through what is it, Switcher or Twitcher or Flitcher or whatever, Stitcher. Or an Overcast is what I use. Lots of other things. As long as there's a subscribe button, do that. But you got to send us the proof. So just send a screenshot, take a screenshot, email it to us, southdakotagamer@gmail.com. Show us that you've actually done that. If you rate us, do that too, because we don't necessarily know what your screen name is. All kinds of weird screen names going on over there. Let us know it's you. Show us the proof that it's you. Don't steal someone else's.
Oh, that would be shady.
We already know the stuff that's been there. So, and that's it. So you'll be able to get entered into the giveaway for this month. And like I said, the next 6 months, you've got more and more chances to enter. So I guess, guys, there's a possibility by the time we give this away to have at least 12 entries if you're a Patreon supporter.
One for every month from now till November. Yeah, plus at least one extra for being a Patreon supporter. Yeah,
and who knows? I mean, you got to listen. We might throw in some other weird ways to get. There's a lot of time between now and November. We might throw in some other ways to get extra ones. Bonus.
If you give
entries,
each of us $1,000, you can have 1,000 extra entries.
Yeah, if you give each of us $1,000, I'll come over to your house and I'll give you something.
Listen, if you give me $1,000, I'll just straight up buy you a PS4 and keep the other 600 or whatever.
If you give me $1,000, make sure to give me the $3,000, and then I'll give the $2,000 to Josh. And
nope, don't do it. We don't trust him. No,
out of that.
Stop. We're just going to cut him off.
Probably not the way. I don't think that's right
now. That's the giveaway. So there you go. Dave's been talking for a minute. We are giving away a PlayStation 4. So make sure you're listening. As Dave mentioned every week, we'll have new ways for you to subscribe. What? Why are you laughing?
Because you just called me Dad, and that reminds me of the time on Rocket League when I called you that.
I do remember that. If I did, it was a Freudian slip, Dad. That was with Tyler, too. Oh, that was great.
Oh, man, Tyler lost his mind.
That's how the cool kids talk to their friends these days.
Daddy-o. So,
Dad?
we're giving away a PS4. Make sure you listen in. You want to give us the subscriptions that you did and the rating, screenshots to the email address Dave said. And then if you want to support us for another entry, that is available. And we'll have other things that you can do to earn additional entries going forward. So we're excited to give it away. It's a big deal. I know if I listen to a podcast where there was an option or opportunity to win something like that, it'd fire me up. So hopefully it fires you up to win something real cool. We're excited to do it for you. With that being said, we're going to jump right into the podcast as usual. We're going to get into the new releases. Not a ton of them this week, but as always, this section of the podcast is brought to us by our good friend Andy, Patreon supporter, and the word of the week, blatherskite.
This one is another one that I know.
Go for it.
I learned this word from reading Edgar Allan Poe back in the day.
Yeah.
Dave, you should take a crack at it first, though.
I'm gonna pass because
Hard pass.
I have my reasons.
Yeah,
That's a
good
first.
call.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pass.
Oh, gosh. Let's just take
All
him
right.
at his word and move along real quick.
A blatherskite who talks a whole bunch without really saying anything.
That's correct. That is correct. So hopefully that is not what you find this podcast to be. Three blatherskites.
Oh, we say all kinds of things, Chad.
For the
We're in
record,
no danger.
mine had to do with lathering up a kite with blood, and I just thought it would go
Okay.
a horrible way if I
Yeah.
talked about
That would be interesting. What would be, just out of curiosity, what
Oh,
would be
boy.
the thought process behind doing that? I'm assuming it would be productive for
I was
somebody
going to
saying
have to go. I was going to go down an entirely long, very long, a cult description of copying the Passover
Okay.
from the Christian.
Great, I like it. So it's gross and offensive to Jews. That's perfect. We should totally include that on the podcast. So why don't you lay that all out?
That's
For
the
us
first
in
thing that came to
detail.
my mind. I don't know why, and I thought
Wait,
this is going to take a while. I don't know if I
Awesome.
should do this.
Great. Okay.
I'm happy about your initial decision.
For the
We just
for the
lost
record,
all of our
maybe-
listeners in Israel.
for
so-
the record, sometimes I even scare myself with what I might say next. So I try to take precautions.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Andy. We blame you. So let's get into the new releases this week. Dave,
Yeah.
fill us in on what we could buy or play this week.
Lots and lots of those things that I would normally use that office quote for, Chad, but I'm not gonna because you don't like it when I do it, which is another thing I would use to say. Dreamfall
what's
Chapters. Dreamfall Chapters, guys, is coming out for the PS4 and Xbox One on May 5th. Now, there's something I know about Dreamcast chapters fall. Dreamfall Chapters.
Don't think about the Dreamcast.
Yeah, this is not just. I don't think this is just PS4 and Xbox. Is this also PC?
It might be.
It just.
Yeah, it's on Steam. It's on Steam as well.
Yeah, so I don't know when the date is because I don't see it on here. But anyways, I was going to say that Dreamfall Chapters, guys, is the long. Did you know this? The long-awaited episodic follow-up to the award-winning and best-selling adventure games, The Longest Journey, and Dreamfall, The Longest Journey. So that was really
Some might
interesting.
say it's an exciting story-driven episodic adventure for Windows, Mac, Linux, and PlayStation 4. Some may say that.
I wouldn't have said that, Chad. That's just me. I thought it was interesting that the two games that this company is known for is The Longest Journey and Dreamfall: The Longest Journey. So I'm wondering, are these games similar, or is this like a remake? Or, I mean, The Longest Journey and Dreamfall: The Longest Journey, very similar names. Very similar names. I don't know.
Now these
No
are
clue.
chapters.
But anyways, if you want to know what Dreamfall Chapters is about, Chad, it follows three characters on their journeys across two worlds. One, a cyberpunk version of the future. Some people might say it was a vision of the future. The other, a magical fantasy world, as their stories and destinies intertwine.
I kind of like it.
It does look cool. I actually
Seems
thought about
interesting.
Josh when I saw it because, I don't know, when I just think about like weird PC games, think about Josh.
Seems like it might be up my alley.
Yeah, but that's coming out on the 5th, May the 5th, the day after May the 4th, which has to do with Star Wars, which Josh hates talking about. Anyways,
For the record,
Let's-
I love talking about Star Wars. It's just an experiment.
also on May 5th, which I feel like is the big release for most people, coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One, the long-awaited, yet also quite a bit of a surprise, to my understanding, when it was first announced that it was finally coming this quickly, Prey, which looks really good, guys. Oh, I forgot the demo. The demo's available right now?
It's available right now. I'm
Yep,
actually
it has been
downloading it
since-
at the moment.
Yeah, I need to do that as well, Chad. Sorry. It's just going to have to happen.
How about, I mean, as long as it doesn't interfere with like how the quality of the podcast goes.
There is somewhat of a System Shock vibe to the trailers that I'm seeing for Prey, which is exciting to me.
Yeah, a lot of people I hear are saying it feels like BioShock. The
Ooh,
original
okay.
BioShock.
All right.
It's definitely got some horror elements to it. It's in space. I actually saw there were some commercials for it while we were on the History Channel tonight watching Superheroes Decoded.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say
cool
it's
show to
surprising
watch.
that it's on the History Channel, but it makes sense that it'd be on during that time slot.
Yeah. Cool show, by the way. But yeah, so it's definitely a horror game, first person shooter. People are saying it reminds them of
You can
BioShock, so that's cool.
You can turn into a roll of toilet paper. I saw.
Yeah,
Can't you turn into
real strange.
You know what? The most like hardcore awesome thing that I watched an IGN video of stuff you can do, and they used a grenade to turn an enemy into scrap, and then they used the scrap to make bullets, and then they shot other enemies with the bullets they made out of an enemy. And I was like, that is metal. That's
very
super freaking metal. I love that.
Yeah, so it might be worth checking out. Like Dave said, the demo is available for free. I think it gives you the first hour.
basically. Yep.
Yeah,
There you go.
so that's cool. All right, I think that's all, correct?
That's all, guys.
All right, well, that brings us to PlayStation announced the free games for PlayStation Plus subscribers here in May. Josh, you wanna give us those games?
Love to. Don't know how I feel about this month's lineup. Xbox's lineup, I feel, was much stronger. But first, we got Abzu, the very popular game, kind of a journey alike for the PS4. Up next, we got Tales from the Borderlands, which is great. I'm just not excited about it because I already own it.
Right, fair.
So there's that, but it is well worth playing. It's very good. Also for the PS4. Laser Disco Defenders, which sounds exciting. That's on the Vita. We got Type Rider, which I have done some reading about. That looks also cool. That was a weird sentence structure, but that's also for the Vita. We got Blood Knights on the PS3. And last, but certainly not least, Port Royale 3, Pirates and Merchants, also for the PS3. Those are your May PlayStation Plus games.
There you go. Those should be available, I believe, today at the time this podcast is out. If not, probably next Tuesday. So there you go, the free games for PlayStation. That's going to bring us right into the news that you can use
if you so choose
to do so.
Brought to us by our good friend, Patreon supporter, Paco.
It's a Paco.
Hey, Paco.
And First Hand Supply. First Hand Supply.
Chad, I don't know how you didn't expect that to happen again.
True, fair. Get your beard oils, your colognes, your hair products. They're good for your face.
Make your face smell good and then put it on somebody else's face.
With your face.
First Hand Supply.
Hey.
If you so choose to do so.
And they're okay with it too.
Yeah, well,
if they consent.
Okay, I guess. or if you can run real fast, you can just do it anyway.
Sure.
Well, yeah,
I suppose. Yeah. Okay, we're not.
You're like the guy from Prey.
Don't be weird, guys. It's just face-to-face contact. It's fine. It's no big deal.
I mean, personal space is a thing.
This PC society nowadays.
Although
it is just weird. Put a face on somebody's face.
It is weird. We didn't clarify that you don't necessarily have to put it onto another beard with your beard, because that would, for some people, not everybody.
No, it could just be a face if you want it to be a face.
Yeah, it could be any face except a child, unless it's your child. In that case, it's okay.
The news that you could use this week, brought to us by a good friend Paco. We only have a few items on the list. There was a ton of stuff that happened this past week that I felt was interesting in putting it on. So this is what we got. Deal with it. Call of Duty. I We got the reveal trailer on the 26th of April, which I believe was last Thursday. We watched that trailer. I assume all three of us did, yes. And it was good. I liked it.
Looked good.
Thoughts. Let's start with our initial thoughts.
I have no. I again, very very lightly touching on our last topics cast. The blowback made me kind of just want to throw up in my mouth. It's just a video game. It looks cool. I look forward to playing it. That's all I'll say about that.
I guess what blowback are you referring to?
Yeah, I'm confused.
Just the blowback on. There's a whole lot of blowback on Twitter about the diversity and like, oh, you know, they're putting diversity in here for diversity's sake. This is just another example of a white man's war and how America's just the elitist, and it's like, come on, guys, it's a World War II game.
Right.
Just get over it.
I mean,
play the game.
You're damned if you do and damned if you don't, I guess.
Right, sure.
As far as that stuff goes, but
what do you think, Josh?
For me, it looks good. I will say that, I mean, it's just a reveal trailer, so you know, it's just giving us an idea, I guess, of what it is. But I wasn't like extremely impressed. I'm not like dying to get my hands on this game, but I am interested, and it looks different enough from Battlefield 1 to make me interested in possibly getting it and playing it. I mean, you're gonna hit on the next thing, but I do like that there's no health regeneration, which is strange for a first-person shooter. I feel I don't know that I've ever played one that didn't have some sort of health regen, whether it's just not getting hit for a while or picking up a med pack or whatever. But that seems like an exciting mechanic.
Well, there will be med packs.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Okay. I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
but I guess it's the auto health regen,
right?
Is what's there.
Example,
which is still cool.
Example, cool. Battlefield 1 is you can go get, you know, medics can heal you and everything, but if you don't get health after a certain point of time and you don't get hit anymore, your health will regenerate a little bit. Yeah. And that's just something.
No more.
Yeah.
Hiding rocks and waiting for your health to come back to rush back out.
Hitting the dirt and then just letting it come back up. I think that's a cool concept. I really hope that it's not where your vision's going to be impaired, because, you know, like Call of Duty's known for what we used to call
that is
jelly or blood splatters everywhere. Yeah. And sometimes
that is annoying.
Because even in one of the latest multiplayer games, it's like when you're playing multiplayer, you almost get killed and you got all this stuff all over your screen. And there have been times where it hinders your ability to see certain things. And it's like,
see, that I don't mind as much if it's there briefly.
Mm-hmm.
I think like that being on the screen for a few seconds adds to the intensity of the situation, and you're like just spraying bullets everywhere because you don't know what's going on because you can't see. It adds, I think, to the immersion and realism, but staying on the
there
screen
until you find a health pack, literally.
Until you get healed. Like, I mean, I think we talked about this, and Colin made the point about Resident Evil 7, but like stayed on the screen until of health, like that's where it gets annoying. It's just immersion and it's not realistic. It's just annoying. And I guess on how they handle that. But
and I don't know that this is for the multiplayer. I know for sure this is for the campaign and the single player. They haven't really talked about the multiplayer, so I don't know if that'll affect that at all. But for the single player, yeah, there's no health regen waiting, you know, for your health to come back before you go back out and start fighting the Nazis again. And the main thing is they're trying to, you're not a super soldier, you know. In the last, we've been wall running, we've been double jumping. They're trying to take away the I'm a superhero and come at me, bro, feeling, to where you're playing a 19-year-old kid from Texas. And they've made a point to say, if this 19-year-old kid can't do it, you're not going to be able to do it. So, you know, to the point where you rush onto the beach in Normandy and he does, you know, what you would do a slide or a power slide, and he basically dives head first into the ground and covers his head with his hands, because that's what a 19-year-old kid would do while getting shot at. He's not going to do a power slide on his hip while he shoots 4 Nazis in the face, and then do a double jump over the iron crosses on the ground, and it just
no
doesn't
scope
happen.
the guy up in the tower.
Yeah,
and then tuck and roll and throw some throwing knives and hit guys right in the throat. And
exactly. So it's
and
not
he's
your
Chuck Norris,
right? Who is other than him?
Norris.
Right. It sounds much more grounded. They're definitely trying to tell the story of a smaller group of people, and that's where the health regen thing comes in, where you're going to want to stick with your squad. And if you're low on health, you'll have a squad mate that's a medic, and he'll be able to heal you. But if you get separated from him during the campaign somewhere and you go off on your own, you're not going to be able to get that because you're not with your squad mates. Same thing with ammo. And this isn't something that you've got to push a button to get it. It's an active ability that happens kind of, cohesive with the game. If you're running out of ammo or you're running low, the ammo guy may toss you a clip, kind of like Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite, where she's like, here, I found this coin, and she, throws it to you. That's what they described as, this guy will just toss you a clip of ammo if you're running low. But you've got to be near him or he won't be able to do that. So it's interesting. I'm excited for the World War II aspect of it again. And for the single player and the story mode, like Infinite Warfare, I wasn't super excited. It was fun. It was fine, but I really wasn't invested in it. And, I missed the Modern Warfare, and I know that's not Call of Duty or the World War II aspect, but I missed the storytelling, that Modern Warfare, and you were cared about the characters. And they told the story that was cohesive, and it made sense. And I'm looking forward to that kind of Band of Brothers feel again. You know what I mean? And that'll be fun. I like the trailer. I'm excited to see what they bring.
Have they? There's no kill streaks in this one, right?
They have not talked about the multiplayer at all.
Oh, okay.
So
I felt like I read that. Maybe I'm making that up.
That might be someone, hypothesizing what it may be, but
looks good.
Yeah.
All right. I also did see, and I forgot to put this on, but I just was reminded of it. It sounds like there's a rumor out there that Modern Warfare Remastered will be sold in a standalone here real soon.
Hallelujah.
I think GameFly may have leaked part of their sales page of it where they had it on its own, either for rent or for sale. There was no price attached to it or anything like that, but I want to say it was like a July date was around it. I can't remember exactly. I only saw it in passing right before. But
if that's the case, Chad, that's a PS4 game we need to get.
Yeah, I agree.
I was going to say this too,
Definitely
just out of curiosity. We mentioned last week that they are coming out with a standalone co-op campaign for World War II. And I thought about this last week, and for some reason I didn't say anything. After I listened to us, I was wondering why I didn't say anything. Why is this like? What is going to be better about this? Because they've had co-op campaigns before that were you just had the option to play. Because Chad and I have done it before. It's something like I think maybe
Spec Ops stuff or Special Ops. Yeah.
Well, no, Advanced Warfare actually had.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Missions.
You're right.
Yeah, it was really hard. Well, I remember we kept getting stuck at that one point.
Yeah. So what's different about this one?
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're like if they're specifically like writing maybe a separate campaign story that
it is standalone. So
yeah. I mean, to where it's like if you're playing it. I mean, because like, is this something you would get if you're going to just solo it? Like, can you not solo it? Because that seems weird to buy another campaign separately. Because it seems to me like if it's going to be a standalone, then it's going to be a game that's written. Like the story's going to be written as two people. And so I guess if you don't have a person playing it with you, like your other
AI or something,
your AI will be a very important character that's there with you, almost like Price and Soap when they were together in the old Modern Warfare games.
Yeah, I was understanding it as there will be the normal single player campaign and then another extra co-op campaign.
I think that's right because they numerous times said standalone, so meaning that you won't it has nothing to do with the main storyline. So that'd be interesting. I did hear someone assume that meant the zombie part, because we do know there are going to be zombies as well. But I think that's even separate from the zombie part. I don't think that's what they were referring to, because otherwise, why would you just say zombies? Because that's what everyone's aware of. Why would you tease it as a separate co-op?
I liked seeing a tweet from a popular video games journalist that said, he was like basically paraphrasing Activision and saying stuff like, this time we're making World War II the most accurate and depiction of history, and we're going to give you the real true you know what? Screw it. Here's some zombies.
Yeah. A lot of people like those zombies. I'm not a big, huge fan of it, but that's because I'm not good at it. So
Yeah, I never really got into it either.
Yeah, I'm just not good. All right. Anything else to say about Call of Duty?
It's
November
good.
3rd. Yeah, that's the date. So I'm excited. I'll play it. I buy it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I ain't a hater. I'll play it. PS4, first one.
Nah.
Going on
So have we
PS4 first
decided
one.
that's what we're doing? Or have you decided that's what we're doing?
I haven't.
Because
Like,
if you
I just
decided,
assumed-
then I already have it.
right.
And
I
whoever
just
wins the
assumed.
giveaway
There you go.
can also.
Yep.
This comes down
All
to
right.
our whole discussion with Chad and I about who do we play with more on PS4. Of course, we don't have to worry about any of our Xbox guys even hearing this, because
Oh, sick burn.
they'll listen to our podcast. So another reason.
They could win a PS4 though. I mean,
They could.
these guys that own the Xboxes only.
I'm not going to
buy another one just to
play that game.
Right.
I only have this because my
If
friends
they-
have it. It's like, well,
someone-
that's why I went to PS4,
Someone
because you
would
guys
tip them
bailed.
off. Someone would tip them off and say, hey, you could win a PS4 from this podcast with us that happens to have people you know on it. Not that I give them any extra advantage. I'm not saying that. You would think maybe they'd want to start listening.
Nah.
I would.
All right, moving on. Nintendo. They announced shortly after canceling the NES Classic, shortly after announcing a SNES Classic, they came out last week, Reggie Fils-Aimé, and came out and said they're going to be selling a new, and I guess they didn't have the word new, that's my word, 2DS XL for $150 coming out in July.
Hey, guys. Guys, remember that handheld that we're kind of stepping all over with our new big thing, the Switch, which is also a handheld and a console? Yeah. I'm giving you another version of that you can buy. Boo.
So it will be, if you're familiar with the 2DS, a lot of people call it the doorstop. It's a wedge-shaped handheld device that
You
plays.
can go buy it for $70 right now at Walmart.
I don't know if it's quite that cheap.
Yeah.
Is
they
it
are.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. My daughter has one. We got her one for her birthday.
Let me throw in a little caveat. It might be 80, but it's definitely 70 something in the price, whether it's 79
Under
or
100.
Yeah. They're cheap.
Yeah.
Those specific
so
ones, wedge ones.
right, and it's just a wedge. There's no clamshell. There's obviously no 3DS because it's 2DS. It plays all the 3DS games and everything like that. Other than that, everything's similar to the 3DS XL. This 2DS XL is larger, like the 3DS XL is. It does have a clamshell to it, so you can close it. So it has two screens. It's bigger than the regular 2DS. It just doesn't have the 3DS function. That's literally the only difference between it and the 3DS XL. And the price, it's $50 cheaper for this than the 3DS XL. So, yeah, I mean, Nintendo is showing their commitment to stick with these separate handheld systems versus.
Do you think
the
it's
Nintendo
that, or do you think they're
Switch.
trying to milk the DS before they end?
I mean, it could be they continue to say that they're committed to the 3DS handheld and now the 2DS handheld. This was announced alongside showing some new games that they're going to do that they announced that they're direct about a month ago or so. I think it's released around the same time.
I mean, the DS and everything. Why put out a new version of the DS again?
It's cheaper, and I mean,
I know, but when you're already saying we don't have enough people to like put out, continue doing this and that, but they have. I mean, they can just make another version of something that's been out already for. I mean, I'm not saying I'm sure there's a lot of people that'll be like, well, why not give us another one? Well, it's like I don't think people were crying out for a new.
Sure.
There's lots of people that want a lot of the other stuff that they make and decided to stop making. Mainly the main thing that they're pushing out now, and then some of these other things that they've discontinued and they're gonna do this.
If you tie it into their production issues that they've had here recently with the NES Classics, and they asked him, Reggie Fils-Aimé, about that, and he said, reiterated again, they didn't expect the demand, and also he said we don't have unlimited resources, saying so we have to pick and choose what we're able and what we want to produce. And his saying was they were wanted to up the production on the Switch, which he still reiterated again that the NES Classic was only a time, they were supposed to only do it for a limited time, even though that was obviously never announced publicly. That was their thought. So they took, assumedly, production off the NES Classic to put it towards the Switch. And then obviously coming out with this new system again, obviously you got to produce that somewhere, and that takes people from your unlimited or not unlimited resource group of people. And then also today we saw that the latest shipment of Switches coming from Japan, rather than putting on a freighter boat and shipping it across the ocean, they put it on airplanes and spent, I guess, a good chunk of change to get them here as quickly as they could, or not just the United States, but other places as well. So they put a little extra resources into getting them here faster and putting them on a plane rather than a boat. So, I mean, there's a lot here. We're saying they announced a new system. Josh is really, he's scratching his back with that back scratcher so much he's going to break the skin. There's a lot here besides just announcing a new handheld. And, it sure seems like there's talking out of both sides of their mouth sometimes.
I do know that Patreon supporter Evan Steele did secure the order of a Switch that he will be getting this Thursday.
Oh, cool.
Finally. He's been wanting one for a long time. I'm very shocked he didn't have one. GameStop.
Where did he get it through? GameStop. Okay.
Well, he kind of told me the other day he had some connection with maybe not a connection, but he's friendly because he goes into GameStop a lot. He's giving them a lot of service or a lot of
business.
Business. That's what I was looking for. Thanks, Josh, the business guy. So he said the guy there kind of threw him a bone and said, "Look, we're getting like these big bundles in, but if you want, we're not supposed to do this. But if you just buy the bundle, I'll let you return whatever you don't want out of the bundle." So that's what he ended up doing. So he's got one of these bundles, and he's just going to return what he doesn't want.
Good, exciting, good for him.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh, you gonna say, or you're just gonna keep it to the boo?
I have no more thoughts. That's
okay.
All of my thoughts about this.
The booing sums it up. Fair enough. All right, so that's happening. Next and last on the news list this week, PlayStation 4 is super successful, as we already know. They announced here this last week that they have shipped, not necessarily sold through, but shipped over 60 million consoles worldwide. 60 million.
It's impressive.
It's a lot of PS4s out there.
I just want to throw this out there again because there have been talks about how the Switch is outpacing the PS4. Well, I mean, Nintendo is claiming they're hoping to have 10 million shipped by the end of this year. And PS4 came out 4 years ago, and they're at 50 million. So with that math, Switch won't even be at 40 million really in 4 years if they stay at this meteor selling rate. Yeah. I'm not saying they won't do it. Yeah. I'm just saying, you got to look at the numbers.
Yeah, still unlikely that they do that.
Just saying.
Good that they're doing great, but unlikely they continue that. So, PS4 is 60 million. If you don't have one, you're in the minority. I mean, that's not true because there's a lot of people in the world. Anyway, that's all we got for the news. And bring us right into what we've been playing lately. Josh, why don't you start us off?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I heard a noise and it sounded like my washing machine exploded. So I hope there's not just suds everywhere.
I hope it didn't.
It sounded like a missile started to launch and then it shut off on its own. So it got unbalanced. I'm afraid to go outside.
All right, well, if the YouTubes see Dave start to drift away in a wave of suds and water, you know what's going on.
You know why.
I've been playing the usual. Got into some more Divinity. this week. Opened up a new area, so that's exciting. It's pretty good. Still going strong. It's a very good game. I dug into a little more Skyrim Special Edition. Is that what it's called? Special Edition?
Please so.
And I'm just kind of piddling around with it. Like, I'm not in a hurry to do anything. I'm trying to do different things that I've done than I've done every time I've played this game. Usually, at least at the very beginning, I follow the main quest line because I'm just trying to level up my character, and then I start wandering off the beaten path. So I'm trying not to do that this time. I'm trying to just explore and just find stuff and let the leveling happen kind of organically. I'm trying not to put too much thought or whatever. Like, I'm trying not to overthink it this time. Yeah. So, and it's fun playing that way. I think that's the way I should have played it all along, but it's cool. And then, so I got that game. I think I mentioned last week, I got that game because it was on my wedding registry.
Mm-hmm.
The next game I got also as a wedding gift, even though it was not on my registry. And that game is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Dang, man.
So I was excited. I was excited to plug that in. So I did, and I played it all the way through the beginning part where you're a little girl, and it's basically like the game's tutorial. It's showing you like systems and mechanics and all that. So I played through that, and I stopped playing at the part where she's like going off to look for the dude because it's the day of the proving or whatever. It's good. I really, really like it. And I like I knew what the story basically was, or the premise rather, that it's like far future and post-apocalyptic and like everything's overgrown and you see just remnants of the old world. And like the beginning of the game, like you're wandering through what the girl calls a cave, but it's actually like the remains of a building, and there's like desks and computers and all that stuff in there. So it's a really cool feel. Like it feels like it's even further in the future than like The Last of Us, for instance. And it's a really cool vibe. I will say, like, again, I've only played through the tutorial at this point. I will say it hasn't like super grabbed me yet. I really like the setting. It's a beautiful game. It hasn't like captivated me yet, but I haven't played that much either. So
I felt the same way.
But yeah, so that's what I'm gathering. I'm gathering that it maybe starts just a little bit slow, which is fine. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing what the story's got. Like, I really like the mechanics. I really like the idea of the fact that she's got this device that nobody else has got, which like that's their way of kind of doing those gameplay mechanics, like being able to scan things and all that stuff. Like, I like that they made it make sense instead of it just being like dumb video game user interface stuff. So I like where it's going. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the story.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's what I played this week.
Awesome.
Also,
Dave?
I deleted Rocket League.
He did it.
I did it again.
It lasted a couple weeks. Did you play it anymore, or you just were like, yeah, I don't need this here?
Yeah. I needed room for like some other stuff. So yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Maybe next time they put something out, I'll go try going back to it again.
All right.
It's so toxic.
All right, Dave.
Like besides the annoying stuff of like all the stuff that I've addressed in the past, I don't like the person that it makes me when I play it. It's really, really toxic. There's just so much. Not even that. It's just like people get real snarky, and then it makes me feel snarky, and then I'm just irritated. And that's not why I sit down and play video games. So,
Sure.
I feel like I'm just better off not playing it probably. It's like my sickness, my addiction, and I just need to make sure I don't give in.
Put the needles away, man. Just get rid of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Dave?
You sure?
Dave.
Yeah, I'm done now.
Dave.
Okay. I played some Overwatch last week with the Steel Boys. It was fun to get back into that. It was just as exciting as when I left it. And then after some of them went to bed, some other of us played some Rocket League. And we played the drop. It's called Drop Shot, right?
Drop Shot, yeah.
We
That
played the
is
Drop
fun.
Shot
That's a
mode,
fun mode.
which I'd never played, and I was like, I'm like, it's actually opposite of everything that Josh said. Like, I loved it. Like, we were. I mean, he accepted. He just said that's a fun mode. It is a fun mode, and it's very intense. Like the way I remember it, it's even more intense than when I played, the normal version.
Definitely.
I played it with Jordan and Paco, and neither of them had. I don't think either of them had played it very much at all, if any. I think it was at least one of their first times, but we started playing some guys that were much better than us, and we lost for a little bit. Then we started winning. It started getting really, really fun. And then, of course, one of them, I'm not going to say who, because I can't tell them apart sometimes. And I don't feel bad saying that anymore, because one of them said that about me on another podcast, and
Really?
it was insulting.
Wow.
Yes. One of them said when they listened to Star Wars Rant, they couldn't tell the difference between me and Brian Seddon.
That's hard to believe.
Wow.
I thought so
Wow.
too. But anyways, so now I'm just going to say, you know what? Y'all sound alike, and I don't know the difference between any of you. But anyways, we're playing this, and I will say, Josh said, I don't like the person that it makes me. Well, one of them said to me after I let out a very stereotypical of me scream doing something, they said, oh yeah, I forgot why we stopped playing Rocket League. And I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, wait a second. Did you just reference like you stopped playing a game because you couldn't stand like the noises I make? Sometimes it's just a little, that's not what we meant. Sometimes it gets, I'm like, look, dude, Rocket League doesn't make me anything but what I am. Like, I do that kind of stuff in every game I play. So, I mean, I don't see you guys not playing Overwatch. So, come on.
That's true.
Guys.
That's true.
Come on.
I will say,
I have heard people say things about me at Overwatch being loud.
I will say Drop Shot, I thoroughly enjoyed that mode. It is way different than the main game. There's a lot more aerial play and all that stuff. Like, I think it takes more skill to be good at Drop Shot than it does the main
There
game.
is a lot of skill that you very quickly pick up on the fact that a lot of times you want to hit the ball from the top instead of just bouncing it around. Yeah. There's a lot of stealing people's shots. There's the underlying theme of stealing the other team's momentum, basically.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So if I would have stuck with that, I probably would have continued to enjoy Rocket League. I just if I'm playing it, I have a hard time sticking to the regular, the special modes, because there's something about the ranking and moving up in the ranks that appeals to me, but then it comes with all the other crap, and it's mainly me, I think. But yeah, Drop Shot's fun.
Yeah, I like it. And then the last 3 games I played were all Switch games. Super Bomberman R, which I played a little bit of. Played through some of the campaign.
How good compared to previous Bombermans?
I don't know if I can answer that until I play it with other people.
Okay.
The main thing I did, I haven't played through any of the campaigns in any of the other Bombermans ever. It was all about the multiplayer for me. And so I played one, I talked about this last week, one match with or a couple matches with a random online guy who beat me. So, I mean, I haven't played it much more than that, basically. I do like it, and I really want to wait and hold my opinion until I've played with some other people, specifically same room people, because that's what I loved about Bomberman the most.
Yeah.
I also played some Mr. Shifty, which I can't remember if I talked about it last week or not. But
yeah.
I like it. I really like it. It's very reminiscent of Hotline Miami, which is a game I got the platinum on PS4. It's a game, basically it's a top down, same type of view of a room, a building you go into and you're looking, it's like imagine just looking down from the top and someone just cut the whole roof off and you can see all the rooms and the walls and the doors. And you have to take out all these guys. Sorry, not my voice. I don't know what's going on. But you have this ability to teleport, kind of like crap. I just
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler. It's very, very similar. You turn into a poof of smoke and you go.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Dave just teleported.
Dave's either that or his washing machine exploded. Or he hit the didn't he hit it sounded like he hit the table. I wonder if he turned itself. Did you hit the table and turn it off?
No, I didn't. It just went off on its own. I kept talking, thinking maybe I'd save the audio, but
Dave teleported out.
Yeah, save the audio. We just went with it too.
Yeah. Anyway, so apparently listeners, if you're listening, not watching on YouTube, I just completely dropped out of the call and came back as soon as I talked about teleporting.
Well, you disappeared on YouTube too. You were gone.
Yeah, that's the video call.
Yeah,
that's what.
Welcome back.
Anyways,
okay.
But what I was saying was your little cursor shows you how far you're going to teleport. You don't just, Nightcrawler could kind of teleport wherever he thought or something. I don't know how that worked exactly. It was different with different versions. But anyways, you can teleport so far. So there's a lot of play as far as like where you can teleport, how thick the walls are. You can punch through walls if you hit them long enough, as long as they're like a certain thickness. There's no gunplay except for the enemies that are shooting at you. At least nothing that I've come across. You can pick up things. You can pick up like heads of statues after you break a statue. You can pick up like decorative boat oars that are on the wall or something. You're going through the point of the game is going up a skyscraper floor by floor to get to this evil, corporate executive CEO or whatever, and trying to steal something from his place. But it's really cool. I like it. It's a very simple game. It got its hooks in me the same way Hotline Miami did, where it's like, I'm thinking, all right, I'll get through this level and I'll be done. But then, like, as soon as I start the other level, it's like I instantly want to just, okay, I'll get through this level and then I'm done. And then eventually I just have to turn it off. So it's a good game. It's not, I forgot how much it was, maybe $20. I can't remember. Maybe less than that. But it's worth it, I think.
Cool.
And then I played a little bit more Zelda. Not a whole lot, really, more than I did last week. But yeah. I still love that game. I'm obviously pacing myself through it. I haven't done any more than the last time I said, so I still have 2 Divine Beasts to get. I basically was just exploring last time around the Gerudo or whatever desert, so I haven't done much more after that. But really cool. Actually, I might have just put Zelda down because I thought I was going to play Zelda and then didn't play Zelda. Because I don't think I've done anything more than what I said last time. Because I literally went to work. I drove and left for work the day after the podcast last week, and I didn't play Zelda at all when I was on the road. So I guess I haven't played it. But
you played the other Switch games while you're out.
No, I didn't. So maybe I played Super Bomberman like that night. I played Mr. Shifty for sure that night and the morning before I left. So I know I played Mr. Shifty. But yeah, that's what I played. Right. And if you're wondering, Chad, what I was laughing about earlier, it's because I read parentheses that you put on your next one. Sure. I hadn't noticed it. Then.
Oh, that's good. That's fun.
Which
all right. So what I played
back, so I'm gonna need to go get some food after the podcast
for sure. All right, so I last week I played. First of all, if you recall, you listened to last week's podcast. Dave and I mentioned on the podcast, "Hey, well, let's play some Wildlands." Yeah, we'll do that. And so I get done, and he was going to go to Taco Bell, and I was going to go make a pizza. So like 10 minutes later, I'm sitting down there, and Dave's on the PlayStation. You can see your friends. He's on, like the PlayStation's turned on. I'm like, oh, he's probably just, he's not back yet or whatever. I was like, oh, I'll just get started. So I boot up Wildlands, get in there, and invite him. So I send him an invite, and I play. I do a couple things, mess around a little bit. I'm like, man, it's taking a while. Where is he? Look on the PlayStation Home. He's still at home, but it's he's not in the game or anything. I'm like, huh, all right. And I didn't text him, but I was like, all right, I'll send him another invite. Send him another invite. Keep playing. I'm like, I don't think he's coming back. Either he went to Taco Bell and he's never ever coming back. Or he fell asleep or something. He's not playing another game on the PlayStation anyway.
Would you like to know what happened, Chad?
Sure, yeah, sure.
Or do you think,
I think
it
our
would make
listeners
you
deserve to
upset if you found out what happened?
No, I wouldn't get upset.
Okay.
The listeners need to know.
Normally, they need to know, definitely. Normally, what I do when I come home with fast food, or if I make any food here at all and I'm eating, I come after it's prepared, or I come home, I go straight to my room, and I'll turn on Netflix because I don't like playing video games while I'm eating unless it's like chips or pizza rolls or something like that. So I started up Netflix. I was at the end of Iron Fist, right at the end of the season, and so I started watching that, and I'm eating, and I got way too much food. Number one, so I made it through almost a whole episode just before I was done, which was 40 minutes, and I'm like, I kind of feel bad. I got an invite from Chad. I know he hasn't texted me yet. He's not really, trying to force it. So I'll just watch the rest of this episode, and then the next episode was the season finale, and I was like, ugh. So then I went back and I saw you were playing Mass Effect instead of Wildlands. I'm like, oh, he's fine. He's playing Mass Effect. I'll just watch the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
And then that's what happened. Sorry,
and
it's not super exciting story, but
that is exactly what happened. I was like, well, I guess he's not going to make it. Play this for a little while.
And neither of us texted what's going on?
It wasn't a huge deal, but
normally
I figured you were... Yeah.
If you would have texted me
so
I said, hey, man, what's up? I probably would have been like, yeah, and went over there, but I gauged it that way.
Yeah, no, and that's probably how I felt too. So I only played that for, I didn't even do any action in that. I just kind of was running around turning in quests and stuff, and I got bored. And I'm like, well, now what? Here it is.
Chad's not used to playing Wildlands without getting ran off a cliff.
It's definitely not as fun. It's not as fun when you're by yourself. There was this giant complex as part of the story mission that I had to take out, and there are a bunch of guys, and I was doing real good, and then I got killed, and I'm like, I'm not doing that again. And so that's when I switched over. And for Mass Effect, I just was turning in a couple quests, doing something like that, and then I was like, well, I'm not feeling this either. And it was I don't remember what time it was when we finished the podcast. It's usually around 11 or 11:30. It was 1:45, which is early for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go to bed. And I went to bed before 2 a.m., which never, ever happens on a Monday night. So a little disappointing game night for me. But other things I did play after.
I'll make it up tonight, Chad.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Netflix boy. So a couple other things I played beside that on other days. I believe it was yesterday. Yep, yesterday. I was able to finally try out the Marvel Heroes Omega beta, which I guess I didn't put it on the gamer page, did I? I just told a few people that it was available. GameSpot had 80,000 beta codes for the PS4 that they were giving out. All you had to do is go on their website and basically like them on Twitter, and they send you one. So I know a few of us did get one of those, and Carter and I had the opportunity to play yesterday. If you think this game has been on the PC for quite some time, it's a free-to-play game on the PC, and you can buy the different characters and buy costumes and things like that and play. If you think DC Universe Online, if you ever played that game, like that MMO, it's very similar to that, plus Diablo. So it's got the loot and the different abilities of Diablo, but it has the MMO feel of DC Universe Online, where there's a bunch of other people around, but you're not creating your own character. You get to play as a Marvel character, and you can play every character that they have. You can play up to level 10. Then after level 10, you either have to buy it with in-game currency, which after playing and getting a character up to level 10, we had enough to buy one, or you can spend real money, called Founders Packs, which I think $60 you can get all the Avengers. I think you can get all the Guardians of the Galaxy. For $30, I think you can get the Defenders. Or you can buy characters individually, and I think they're like $3 to $5 a piece, depending on how you do it. This is just a beta, but you can still spend the money in the beta to get those packs and play in the beta. The game does not have a release date that I'm aware of. I think it's just like a spring date, which I think technically ends early June. And it's okay. Like if you played Marvel Ultimate Alliance, or if you played, like I said, DC Universe Online, or if you played Diablo, and you liked any of those or all of those, and you really like Marvel, and you want to play these Marvel characters, you may like this game. We played as Captain America. We played as Black Widow. We played as Hulk. I say we because Carter and I were taking turns. We played as Spider-Man. We played as, let's see, who else did we play as? Well, who ended up playing as for good? We stuck with Nova. And then we ended up getting him to level 10 and then had enough in-game currency to buy Nova. And so we did that. It's fun. There's a lot of cool abilities, and we had a good time. I think Carter really liked it. Like Sunday, I think we got to level 12. Went to bed. PS4. He always plays on the Xbox. Wake up this morning, and I come downstairs, and he's got the PS4 going. He's playing Marvel Heroes Omega, and he's up to level 20. I'm like, what time did you get up? I don't, like 7, maybe a little before. I'm like, if you've been playing this is like 8-something, 8:20. Like, you've been playing this entire time? Yeah, pretty much. So he had gotten to level 20 from 12.
Now, did I miss something?
Morning,
Didn't you say you had to like spend money to get past level 10?
Yes, there's in-game currency that you earn just by
currency.
playing, and we had enough to. And I had done that with Nova the day before. We had purchased Nova with it in-game currency. We didn't spend any real money yet.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think we will in the beta. But yeah, so we were able to do that with him. So
And how long is
Nova's
the beta
a-
running?
I want to say that it was like 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's a 2-week time frame. So from last Thursday, so like into the second week of May, I believe. So yeah, you can check out GameStop or GameSpot rather. They may still have some of those 80,000 codes to give away. It's at least worth a shot. And then finally, the game I played a mobile game this week, guys. I played a game on my phone.
Get out.
Yep,
Get out.
it's true. But you know why? It's because it was related to Star Wars.
Okay.
Have you ever played any of those puzzle, like Bejeweled type games? They did Marvel had one too, and they had the superheroes in it. So there's one that's called Star Wars Puzzle Droids, and it's based around BB-8, and you play through and you move the jewels around, match them up, and there's other things you have to do. I like it a lot just because every time I play, I get some Star Wars music, I get some Star Wars sound effects, and honestly, it's really all it takes for me to want to play a game. You put some of that in there, I'm going to like it. So it really drains your battery a lot. But yeah, so I played some Star Wars Puzzle Droids. That was a lot of fun. I do want to shout out or say one thing. I found another app on the phone. It's not a game, but it's a PlayStation app. It's called Yet Another PlayStation Network app.
Okay.
Let me get the actual definition or actual name here. The way it's shortened on the App Store is YAPSN app. Yet Another PSN app. And it's free to download, or you can spend 99 cents and get the full version. But it basically it'll give you all it's for trophies. It's so you can track your trophies. It gives you all your friends on your friends list. It'll tell you what they're playing. It's similar to the actual PlayStation app that you can get, the official one, but this one will also give you the different it'll give you your profile, and when you go to your profile, if you click a game, like the last game I got a trophy and it was Titanfall 2, and you go to that game, it'll give you a list of all the trophies available, ones you have and haven't gotten, and if you click on that, it'll take you to another page which will show you how to it'll give you a guide.
Ooh,
It'll give you YouTube links, Google links, to be able to unlock that trophy specifically. It updates, like there's a picture at the top, and whatever game you're playing, it'll put that picture up there. It looks real cool. It'll tell you the time. It'll tell you the day you started playing the game, when you got the trophies. It gives you a wave graph. It also gives you a bar graph on what days you got how many trophies. It'll give you your average time you spend per session that you played this game. Let's see here. It'll give you the stats on like what percentage of trophies you have left to get. There's a lot of information there. And if you like if you're trying to get the platinum or you're trying to get trophies, it's really cool. And there's a lot of cool things that you can learn from it. So I don't even remember. I was on Reddit and I saw someone that it was a screenshot of them getting a platinum, and it showed like a congratulations screen on their phone, like these little balloons going up, like when you say happy birthday, when you type that. And I'm like, where did he get this? I want to be congratulated when I get platinums. Where is this from? And so I looked in the thread, and it said what the app was, went and looked it up. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. Downloaded it for free, played around with it for like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And you unlock all the time stuff, and for 99 cents, you get the full version. I'm like, 99 cents? Heck yes. 99 cents, and have all the cool things here too. So I like it a lot. I recommend it. It's pretty cool.
What's it called again?
It's yet another PlayStation Network app, YAPSN app.
All right.
So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, I would say go ahead, give it a look.
Doing it right
All
now.
right. Okay. That's all I have for what I've been playing. That's going to bring us into, we have a question from a listener this week. I'm going to read, it's a two-part question, and I kind of give you guys a heads up on it a little bit so we can think about our answers. I'll read the two questions and we'll talk about it. Hunter from Tennessee says, number one, at this point in its life cycle, do you think the VR, the virtual reality, is worth the $400 to $500 retail price? He's obviously talking about the PSVR with this one specifically. And then number two, what do you guys think about the future of virtual reality gaming on next-gen consoles, PC, etc.? So, Dave, you're the only one of the group that currently has a PlayStation VR, and you've touched on this in the past about your usage on it and wanting to maybe, sell it, things like that. What are your thoughts? Is it still worth the $400 to $500?
I would say I would answer this in two different ways.
Okay.
And in the short of it, yes and no. Let me explain. As far as it being worth $400 to $500 for what it is, I think it is. I think it is absolutely worth the money. It's an incredible experience. It's done very well. It's very fluid. Everybody that I've had try it is just blown away by it. Just very impressed. Very, very loves the experience. I'm talking about from adults down to little kids. I mean, they just love it. I love watching people play it. That's been my greatest experience, other than me, some of the games I've played. Now, the second part of that is, let me answer my no by saying this. For those of you who haven't got it, you, meaning guys like you and Josh, I don't think that you have missed out yet by saving the $400 or $500 and not getting it yet, because as far as its life cycle goes, it's still in its infancy. There's not a whole lot out there. There's some great experiences. There's some great full-length games. There's some great, 10-minute, just sit here and watch stuff go around in VR. That's really cool. But there's not, for me, having spent $500+ on it, it has sat and not done anything for the majority of the time I've had it. And there have been times where I have thought, man, it would be nice to have that extra $500. Now I've gotten the experience out of it, which was great. But I almost wish I had a friend who bought one, who I could go over and play it every once in a while, and then right. I still have that money in my pocket. I will say recently I had a frustrating experience where when I went to see my kids, they were really excited because I was thinking about not bringing it, And then it was like 2 days before, my daughter's like, "Are you going to bring the VR?" I was like, well, I guess I have to. Like, they really want to see it. So I took it there. I hook it all up, and it wouldn't like the orientation or whatever, it wouldn't set up right. I couldn't get it to track right. I tried a hard reset. I tried making sure it was updated. It has recently had an update. I don't know when, in the past month or couple months or something. I don't know if it's an issue that's happened since the update. I don't know what it was, but for some reason, the camera would not recognize where we actually were. Like you up until this point, you always push and hold the options button, and it would recenter your vision. So it's like, a lot of times, like they'll have the headset on, they can't see where they are. They'll be facing way over there, and I'm like, okay, let me turn you, because I'm turning you straight, and then we're going to recenter it, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't recenter. I keep holding the button, wouldn't recenter. Like there was one time where it's like they were trying to look forward, but they were standing looking completely 90 degrees away from the camera, and the camera was registering them as looking straight ahead somehow, which screwed up all kinds of other things, because the Move controllers were registered as being straight ahead when they were straight ahead. So when your face tracking's to the left and your hands are to the right, it wouldn't work right. They couldn't grab things. Like I gave them the hands like they were switched backwards. Like you couldn't. I was so frustrated. My kids were frustrated. It made me frustrated. On top of my frustration of it just not working right, it was disappointing. I was very upset. I kept trying to troubleshoot, because I've had this since launch, so I've troubleshooted it a lot with different things. There was an issue where if you kept putting your PS4 into rest mode instead of just turning it off, somehow the camera tracking would get messed up. So I made sure to go through all those steps and try. Nothing would fix. I had to pack it up. They asked me every day I was there, "Is it fixed yet?" I said, "Nope, it's not fixed yet." I mean, it was just a bad experience, and I don't know what the issue was yet. And obviously, I haven't heard a lot of outcry about that. This is something that's not affecting everyone. I don't know what it was. I mean, it could have been me doing something simple that I completely missed, but I've set it up numerous times, and never had this issue before. So I don't know what that is. But as far as the experience goes, like if you spend the money and get one and take it to your house, you're going to be on like cloud 9 with it. You're going to be like, "Oh man, this is incredible." You're going to love it. And then, a couple months down the road, unless there are some releases that are coming out. Like there was one I was waiting for, the Star Trek Bridge Crew, that's coming out, I think this month or next month. It got delayed. But there's still some good games. Eve Valkyrie was a cool shooter game. The Batman Arkham VR was a really cool experience if you like Batman. Just the PSVR World stuff was cool. I mean, but most of it is like, here's how VR works. Here's the possibilities of VR in the future. So the tech is worth the money. That's the first part of my answer. Is it worth the money to spend and get it now? You're going to have a lot of fun with it, but that's going to drop off a cliff after a short while, to where you're not going to have a lot to do with it, and it'll sit there. And when people come over who haven't played it, or who don't own one, who don't always have the opportunity whenever you want, like you do, to just put it on and do it, they'll want to do it, and it'll be fun for a little bit, because you'll get to watch them and whatever. That's fun. But for me personally, not having people that live in the area with me that want to try it, it's like right now, I haven't even taken it out of the box since coming home. So I don't set it up. It's not something I leave hooked up to my PlayStation. So which also, if whether I realize it or not, that kind of plays into, do I want to play it? Because I'm not even thinking about it, because I don't even have it hooked up.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
So there's that.
So yeah, Josh, do you have any plans on doing that still, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, so, obviously I don't own one, so I was mostly going to defer to Dave's input on this. And Dave, you answered one of my questions, which would have been, do you feel like the money is worth it for what's available now? Oh my goodness, I almost lost my mic. And I think from what you said, like the answer is yeah, depending on what you're willing to pay for the experiences that are available now, but you're really investing in the hardware, not necessarily what's available now. And I think we have yet to see the best of what VR gaming has to offer.
Definitely.
Especially with games like what's that? The one from the makers of Firewatch that's coming out.
I don't know.
On the space station.
Oh,
Tacoma.
Tacoma. Yeah, stuff like
That's gonna have
Tacoma. Well, no, I don't know, but I think stuff like that would be interesting in VR.
Gotcha.
And I feel like that kind of thing is where VR is headed. So,
well, that also
like that coming down
let me interject.
the pike.
Let me interject there real quick since it's on my mind too.
Yeah.
That brings in the whole issue of motion sickness and stuff too. They haven't yet figured out a good way to I think they call it locomotion is the term they describe for it.
Right.
Where you're moving
around.
Yeah, free moving stuff. Like it's really good if you're stationary. Like you're sitting in like you can move around, say if you're in a roller coaster car and your mind realizes, okay, we're moving, but I'm sitting in this fixed location, even though the fixed location's moving. So, but when you're controlling a character who's moving, like when I think about floating in space and having to like jettison yourself around using a jetpack or whatever, I could see that becoming disorienting.
You had it.
Disorienting.
Yes.
I don't know why I couldn't say that. I was disoriented in the head. Yeah, so I can see that happening. So they haven't figured out how to do that yet. There's still things they're learning. Like this is like Josh said, it very much is just becoming an early investor in what will become. And I have no doubt that they are going to. This is here to stay. It's just a matter of how quickly it'll start, going into its adolescence, because it is still very much a baby as far as what it is and what it can do.
Yeah.
So sorry, Josh. Go ahead.
No. I mean that's pretty much what I was thinking and what I think about this. I think yes, I am still interested in it. If I ever have the money just kind of sitting around that I could throw at that, it's definitely something that I would be interested in and would do. As far as the future of virtual reality gaming on next gen consoles and PC and whatever, I think we, they always say like the killer app, like we have yet to see the killer app, which I think is true. I think there are some really good proof of concepts available right now that you can play, and like some pretty robust experiences in games. But as far as I know, there hasn't been like the game to play in VR. I think I'm not the only one to say this by far either, but I think it's got a lot more applications beyond just consoles. And even like within gaming, I mean, it's got a lot of applications beyond gaming too, but just in gaming, but beyond consoles, in places where like they've already got some that are up and running now, but like kind of like a laser tag setup, but with virtual reality, and you're going through an actual environment. And they've got things set up for that experience there. And while they're expensive, it looks and seems like it would be a really, really cool experience. And it's something multiple people can do. And so I think we're probably going to see a lot more of VR on consoles for sure. Yes. But I have a feeling that it's going to be a pretty big destination attraction, similar to laser tag in the future.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to say we move on to the future of it. That's an interesting thought. I know I've heard some podcasts and listened to a bunch of video game podcasts. Some of them a little more inside baseball than others. But the way it sounds is the money that was spent on VR, the year of VR when it was all released, when you got the Rift and the Vive and the PSVR, there was a lot of money put into that group or that, genre. And at the same time, a year later, it's less than half that year. Now I know putting out the hardware that costs a lot of money too. But the people that are putting in money in to make things for it and to advertise for it and promote it has dropped off quite a bit in just a year. And I think that plays into what Dave is saying. You're making an investment more for short term. You're going to have some cool things you're going to be able to do for a little bit, but then, that hasn't found, as Josh said, that killer app that makes it like, oh, perfect. This works great. Now everyone just has to kind of take this formula and build on that to make it what game consoles are or PCs are, or that whole new thing, and it makes it a gaming system. So, the group, the video game business, people that are doing this, it seems like they're hesitant on it too. Yeah. Partially because it requires a lot. Like Dave said, it's
still high.
Yeah, the barrier to entry is high financially, and it takes work to set it up. It takes work to give you a space that you can operate in. Whereas guys that maybe, do parties and do the laser tag stuff can have better opportunity to do that. I could see where it would fit into something like that real well. So yeah, I really want one still. I played, the things that Dave brought when he came the one time. Man, that was a lot of fun. Would I like to do that a few more times? I would. And they're coming out with I know PlayStation's coming out with the shooter game, and I forget what it's called. Starts with an F. I want to say Frontline, but that's not right. But it's coming out real soon, where it's a shooter, actual first-person shooter game that's supposed to be real good. Star Trek
the one that's in space.
I can't remember if it's in space or not.
That's like different planets.
Probably. Yeah, maybe. So yeah, I probably would have played it a little bit more, a few more times, and maybe be sitting there collecting dust too. But what the potential is exciting. So I think there's a future there. I think we might be a few years away from it being mainstream enough to where there's enough people making enough cool things that go along with the crappy things and the short experiences, that there's enough to do there to keep you busy. I think we're a couple years away from that, and that might be another generation of consoles.
I think before you start hearing about like you hear with regular games for the PS4 and Xbox One, before you start hearing about VR games on the regular like that, which I feel will be moving into its adolescence. Where you're going to hear about VR is going to be like at E3s and stuff, like when they come out with here's some cool stuff. We know this is still a thing. But you're not going to hear about it all the time, like GameStop or what example's not going to be pushing all that, because there's not really anything there right now. There's a lot of little things that are being put out to test what VR can do and how the consumers react to it and all that stuff. But still expect to hear cool stuff at like a games conference and stuff going forward. But yeah, I think it'll be, until like what Josh said, like the next big thing comes out and people realize, this is what works really good with VR. And so we're going to start making games that are similar to this, just with different experiences. Until that happens, it's just going to be more of a tech experience, a tech test, beta, basically. It's almost like a really expensive beta to be in until it can do hits.
I almost feel like what needs to happen is there needs to be places that open up like a VR experience, like sort of a laser tag thing, or like more demo stations all over the place. Like, Target has like 3DSs you can test out and like other game systems you can test out. Like, I think it needs to be saturated into the public more at this point. Like they've put out, the first adopters, the early adopters have bought their gear and have bought the games and have evangelized as much as they're probably going to, because now all their friends know all about it and have probably played it or tested it. And there are still developers working on VR things, but it's still kind of a tentative, like nobody wants to like dive, I feel like, head on in, because it takes money to develop a game. And then if you put it out, you've got a very segmented audience that you can even market it to in the first place. And who's to say all of them are even going to buy it? Probably just a portion of them. So you have a very small market at this point. So I feel like in order for people to understand because we've said it over and over again, until you play it, you don't really understand what it's like. So in order for people to understand it, they have to have access to it. And I feel like people need to like be able to play demos on the regular, or go someplace and pay 50 or $75 to go through like a 20-minute experience and do something in VR to really understand what's going on. And I feel like doing that would help give VR the boom that it needs in order for developers to feel like it's worthwhile to develop for, and people to feel like it's worthwhile to buy. So I don't know. I almost feel like that feels like the next stage. Like that feels like the next thing to happen.
I feel like what would really be good. I mean, this is Sony's thing. I mean, I think Sony needs to drop some money into one of their development teams, and say, look, we need. Maybe they're already doing this. I don't know, but we need one big thing.
Yeah,
that players that have already bought into this can do, that can last us until we're pumping out stuff regular. Like if they could somehow figure out how to, and they've got online games and stuff, but if they could figure out something that's similar to like a massive multiplayer online thing, to where people that have VR can jump into this whatever this world is, and there's always anyone else who has VR can be in there, and you can interact with other people constantly, kind of like a not necessarily a Destiny game, but a game that can be built on as they go. They can always service it while they're going. They just need something that is not a one and done thing. Like even the games are still, they really feel like experiences. Once you do it, you don't really care to do it again. You've experienced that, and Batman was really cool, but I don't, I've never been pulled back into doing it over and over and over. So they need something that, but in the meantime, I don't think at all it's in danger of falling off. I just think it hasn't really started yet. So
right,
yeah, fair. Okay, Hunter from Tennessee. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thanks, Hunter.
Gives you some insight. We appreciate your question. If you'd like to send us a question or hear something, have us talk about something on the podcast, you can send us an email, southkotagamer@gmail.com. You can go to our Facebook page, South Dakota Gamer. I'm on Twitter, as Dakota Gamer. Dave is on Twitter. Josh is on Twitter. You can get us a lot of different places and get us your questions to us. Appreciate it. All right, let's move into the final segment of the night. That is Game Scoop's 20 questions.
Game Scoop.
Dave has a question has the game this week. We
I
will do
do.
the questions.
I do.
You have chosen? You have chosen.
I have.
All right. Josh, why don't you
All
start?
right. Dave, in this game that you have chosen, does your character wear the color red?
Goodness. Offhand, I can't answer that, but I would think that there's a possibility of that.
So not a Mario game, because he would say yes for sure.
Right.
So we're going to go with possibly question mark?
Yeah.
And it also points to the idea that you can maybe switch out gear.
All right. Dave, did this game come out before January 1st, 2000?
No.
So after January 1st, 2000. Dave, did this game come out after January 1st, 2010?
Yes.
A newer game. Okay. Dave, is this game on the current gen consoles? PS4, Xbox One, I guess Nintendo Switch?
No.
Okay,
right.
Cool.
So probably on PS3, Xbox 360 era.
Yeah. After 2010, yep.
Dave, is this a first-party game?
Yes.
Ooh.
All right.
First party. Yes. Dave, is this a Sony game?
No.
Okay. I'm inclined to guess 360 then, but I'm trying to think if I can think of any like
Wii
Wii
U?
or Wii U games.
Yeah, you're
that
probably safe. Yeah,
could be in the running as well.
we
I
could
guess
just ask, and then we would know for sure.
yeah, Dave, is this a Microsoft game?
No.
All right.
So, do we need to ask if it's a Nintendo game? Hey, first party.
I wouldn't think so. I feel like it's probably Nintendo.
All right. So so we could do, it could be if it's Nintendo, it could be a Wii U game, it could also be a 3DS game.
Mm-hmm. Or a Wii game? Were they still making
After
games for
2010?
Wii after 2010?
Yeah, I think they were still I think they still make them now. I think you might still be able to find one now. Okay. Should we still go that route then, trying to narrow that down? We're on question 8.
Yeah, I mean, might as well.
Okay. Dave, is this game playable on the Wii U?
Yes.
All right.
Then nice.
Okay. So you can probably switch out gear,
Okay.
and it's a first party game on the Wii U after 2010.
Right.
I don't know where that leaves us though.
I know. Wii U games.
I know. Okay. Dave, is this a first person game?
No.
Is this a kart racer game?
No. That's question 10.
All right. Dave, your tone was so much nicer than Damon's is when he says
He says that's question 10.
because he's always like, that's 10.
Yeah.
Like he almost, I know he doesn't mean to, but he always sounds like, I gotcha. All right. Not a kart racer, not a first person game. So are we assuming, I mean, it could be third person or side scroller, I guess, at this point. We use weird like that. Or it could be it could be a game, Chad, where you don't even see your character. Your character is like some ethereal idea of a thing.
That's why you wouldn't know if you're wearing red or not.
Dr. Mario debate about whether you're playing as Dr. Mario or something or someone else. Or nothing at all, for that matter.
Wow.
Man, now I just screwed myself.
Oh boy.
That
Put that out of your mind.
I know. Dave, is this a puzzle game?
No.
All right.
Is this a side scroller?
Nope.
Arg. All right, so probably third person.
Damn.
Third person game where you can switch out gear, probably. First party.
I mean, him picking a Wii U game is just throwing me off.
Is there Fire?
I mean,
are Fire Emblem games on the Wii U or just on the 3DS?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know for sure, but I don't believe so.
Okay.
And those aren't made by Nintendo. Those are.
Oh, it's true.
Are they?
I associate them with Nintendo, but those aren't first party. First party Nintendo game.
That's a side scroller. It's a Tropical Freeze. That was a side scroller.
Yeah.
If it's like other Donkey Kong Country games, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you got me. I don't really know. Star Fox.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Dave, do you fly a plane?
No.
Not a plane. Sorry.
Oh,
an aircraft. Do you fly an aircraft in this game?
No.
Okay. I don't know if you'd call Star Fox's craft an airplane necessarily.
Airplane. Right.
Well,
man.
there was that idea.
Is this part of a franchise, Dave?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this okay, Chad? What would you call a game like Mario Party? What genre would you call that?
Party game.
Could it be Mario Party? Do you feel at this point?
I suppose. The rare red question, like, maybe, I don't know. Well,
I mean, I suppose some
Maybe.
of the characters could wear red.
I was just
Is that
Josh answered. Josh said what I was gonna bring up.
What did you say, Josh?
I just said I suppose some of the characters could wear red in Mario
Okay.
Party.
Right, and Mario.
So maybe the answer to that question, well, because he said I couldn't say right off the bat, and I feel like
if you were able to play as Mario, he would.
Yeah, there's
That's
definitely
a
red
qualified yes.
So probably not that.
So it's probably not anything with Mario himself.
Man, I mean, Breath of the Wild is on Wii U.
That's a good point. And he may not know. You can wear red. You could dye your clothes whatever color you want.
Did we ask if it was a third person?
No.
We asked everything else.
Well, I mean, not everything else, but
Is this Dave? Is this a third person game?
It is played in third person. Yes.
I would.
That's
Yeah.
15.
Okay. Do the weapons you use do they wear out?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I would say. I would say not that I'm aware of.
All right.
So it's not Breath of the Wild because he'd totally be aware of that.
Nope.
But you do
Okay,
have
but-
weapons.
I was gonna say I'm assuming we do have weapons then. That
Is
answer.
Fire Emblem Nintendo?
It's always on Nintendo consoles, but I don't know that it's a Nintendo for sure.
I want to say it's like a Square game, but I don't think that's necessarily true either.
Yeah, you may be right about that.
Okay, what Nintendo games that are part of a franchise? So there's more than one, at least through all Nintendo. And you play in third person.
Is there a
And
Metroid
it's on the
third
Wii U.
person game on Wii U?
Not a new one. There might be a remake of an older one.
I can't
Yeah, I
think
know
of
you
any
can
third
play,
person Metroid games.
Yeah, you can play Zero, but I think that's in first person. And then he said it's not a side scroller. You definitely a lot of those are.
You got 3 questions left, and you each get a guess.
Shoot. Weapons.
And you switch out gear probably. I thought we were doing good when we had it narrowed
There
down
are
to
other
Nintendo.
reasons. There are other reasons other than switching out gear that you may or may not wear a specific color.
Oh, Chad.
Yep.
Splatoon is third person, correct?
It is. Yep. It
Okay.
is first party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave,
Okay.
is this primarily an online multiplayer game?
Yes.
Good job, Josh. I think you nailed. I think you found it.
That may be it.
Do you play as Squid Kids in this game, Dave?
Yes.
Aha!
Good job. Way
Is this
to
game
go.
Splatoon?
It is Splatoon.
Nice.
Third-person shooter, developed by Nintendo, EAD, published by Nintendo, released on in May 2015 on the 29th. Has single player and multiplayer modes. From all the pictures, like when you guys hit like question like 15, I was like Googling images, and out of all the images, there's like one image I see of one person wearing a hat that has red in it.
Yeah, it's a
But-
lot of fluorescence.
Yeah, most of the colors are like blue and orange or pink and yellow and
Yeah.
That's
So-
fair enough.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you want
Good one, Dave.
Do you have any idea who recommended me my game today?
I can. You should have told. Well, you should have told it. Well, maybe
No,
you
I
shouldn't have told us. That
I
would
gave it away.
I'm gonna guess it was Evan.
I don't think we're at that point where we go. Our game today came from Evan
Yeah.
Steele, and it's just not already have like 3 games picked.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good suggestion, Evan.
that was
good game. That was.
Although he did have another suggestion that I didn't go with that I might go with later.
Okay.
All
Fair.
right.
Also, another good one.
The
I
fact
think
that
we
it was
had
on
no
the Wii
problem
U,
with that though,
and I know you've never played Splatoon, correct?
not other than a demo, but I know you've played it.
Yeah. Just for you to pick a Wii U game is odd, and we typically pick games we've played ourselves.
right.
So to have that's like a first there, one that we're not supremely familiar with. So real cool. It adds another layer to the game. So very, very nicely done. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the podcast this week. I do want to mention one more thing here before we close out. Shortly before the podcast began, we joined a podcast network, being that this is a South Dakota Gamer podcast, and I live in South Dakota. We were contacted by the Sioux Empire, SIOUX, because that's how we spell it out here. .com, the SiouxEmpire.com. I won't go into anything else because it just could sound weird. They have a group of podcasts that are all based in South Dakota, dealing with a lot of different type of subject matter. And they're all part of the same group, and they go out and they'll promote it on their blog at the SiouxEmpire.com. We are now part of that family, the SiouxEmpire.com as well. I'm just going to list the titles of the other podcasts that are available there to listen to, which we'll add our name to it as well. The first one is Poken, Pokehen.
Okay.
We have The Magic of Travis Nye, who's a magician. We have Chaos Reigns, Dakota Free Press, the Dakota Boys Talk Movies,
Nice.
and then the main one, the Sioux Empire podcast. So if
nice.
you are in South Dakota and want some other South Dakota-based podcasts, there are a handful there that you can go listen to, and we will be added to that list as well. We are happy to be part of it, and look forward to listeners, hopefully.
Very cool.
Going forward.
I'm interested in what a magic podcast would be like. I think I may check that out.
There you go.
Probably just
There you go.
updates in the magic community.
Maybe
Maybe he
I
does
mean,
like some audio magic.
that's impressive if it's
That would be cool.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for listening. Don't forget the big giveaway, PlayStation 4. You can win. Go back to the very beginning. Listen to what Dave said, because I'm not going to repeat it. And you can be entered in to win your very own free PlayStation 4 from the South Dakota Gamer Podcast. As always, thanks for listening. You guys are the best. Have a good night.
Best.
Bye.
Piece of pizza. Yeah. Now singing a song this time.
Wait, me? Was that me? Are you talking to me? Us?
Wait,
I
what?
think he said not sing a song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like last time he sang a song.
I stopped my audio already.
Yeah, me too. All right, bye, YouTube.